And happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports live show, episode 139. Brandon, you okay there, buddy? I think we almost lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. The internet on the laptop, not good. Google Fi on the phone, amazing. So we're doing it by the phone again.
So here's the usual crew tonight. Myself, Danny Torres. We got Brandon and we got Jonka. Brandon, are you back in South Florida? Or are you still up there in the hills of Gainesville?
No, I'm back in Gainesville now. I'll be back here working a little bit until I get my current lease done. But yeah, I mean, again, a lot of good news. I know we'll talk about that pretty soon. But yeah, now I'm back in Gainesville for now.
I heard that someone went by Enriqueta's sandwich shop this week and met up with Jonka at the restaurant and had some good food.
Oh yeah, man! I went over there, got the lechon, right? So
okay,
I had to go try it. And again, my Spanish is a little shaky at the moment, so I do apologize. Orango, right? Orange juice.
Naranja.
That one. There we go.
No,
I almost got it.
This is when you know Brandon's from Broward.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got all that stuff. I got to see Jonka Don't Stop, of course, and Enrique's sandwich shop. And again, for those in the South Florida area, do check that out, though. Really good stuff. Good stuff.
The true question is, did you get a little cafecito after?
I wanted to, man. But honestly, I picked like the worst time to go because I got like 1 o'clock right when I was getting that rush. You know what I mean? So I would have asked it on the way, but I didn't want to be like, I don't want to be too much.
Listen, I love you. I would have gone, but I remember that day it was a pretty crucial Champions League match.
I heard.
And I do love you, but I just love Real Madrid a little more. So, anyways, let's get into our plugs and shameless plugs of the week. You guys want to do bad or you guys want to do good first?
Everyone.
All right, let's go with bad. Brandon, what was bad about this past week?
The bad thing from this past week. I mean, a lot of good from the past week, but what I would say the worst thing probably from the week itself, I mean, it's got to be from what I've been seeing across the Panhandle, North Central Florida, a lot of storms going on.
Yeah.
Tornadoes, things going on. So for those in Tallahassee, hopefully everyone's okay. I know that I have a few friends over there that are, getting their power back up. But probably the worst thing from this week, just seeing that from like a third-person view.
Yeah. Jonka?
Worst thing? I guess, you know what? I'm going to say this right now. I think we're living in a simulation, bro. Every day that I live by in my life, think about this for a second.
Jonka thinks we live in that dome in Hunger Games.
Think about this for a second. Why is there traffic at 12 in the afternoon, bro? Shouldn't everybody be working? Don't you guys have jobs?
Hey, maybe they're on their lunch break.
Bro, it's a coincidental lunch break, I'll tell you that much, in the middle of the highway.
Hey, man, it's Miami.
No matter where it is, bro. It's annoying.
I understand your pain.
Yeah.
Bad for me. I would have to say this past Friday, and it was tough. We laid my grandmother to rest. So it was tough. I would say that was the bad part about this past week. So yeah, I know I mentioned to you guys last Monday on the show, but I would say that was the bad, tough part of the week. Brandon, back to you. We're going into good news.
Well, good news is that I was in South Florida for a whole week, probably the longest I've been in South Florida for like, I don't even know what, for the past 2 years over a span. So I was able to see a lot of people, friendly fans. Of course, I saw Jonka at his shop and, of course, his beautiful family as well, which, again, great staff as well.
Thank you.
But, yeah, just seeing everybody. And then, of course, I think the biggest thing, going to Marlins Park in person with friends.
Oh boy.
And that was, again, they lost. I was there for the first of the Philadelphia
Oh.
series games.
What's different?
Yeah, what's different? But I got an excuse to wear Marlins teal again. So I brought out the retro everything. You know what I mean? So that's the best part of the week.
Jonka?
Best part of the week. I mean, I lost another 5 pounds, so I'm on that grind.
Oh,
There we go.
So
There you go.
far, it's
Awesome.
been 43 pounds since January. So
that's good.
Little by little.
All right.
So I'm hyped. Yeah.
All right. For me, it's gonna have to be a couple of things. Madrid's going back to the Champions League final, so definitely gonna celebrate that. I actually went with Jonka. Well, I went to his restaurant, had some good pan con bistec. It was really good. Had a cafecito after. That was great. And then I actually went with Jonka to help him go Mother's Day shopping, which I'm not gonna lie, man. The moment we entered that mall and the amount of people when we got to the women's Macy's,
I knew it.
it was not good, man. I was like, I'm ready to get out of here.
No way. Which mall?
International.
International Mall? You guys? Yeah, there's always going to be people. I would have said go to Westland or something like that. Make the trip. You know what I mean?
Jonka ain't driving that far, bro.
Boy, the only reason I'm going to Westland Mall is because the Krispy Kreme is right next door. And I can't do that.
Krispy Kreme. It's a Krispy Kreme in Hialeah.
That's the one right next to it.
Yeah.
Westland. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm thinking about another mall. My bad. False alarm. But that's still far.
Yeah.
Jonka doesn't venture that far out.
Yeah, I know. Hey, let me tell you, because I was like going to see him in like from Broward County. That was like a whole 40-minute drive, man. I'm telling you right now, like I'm in the peak right there where he's like the county line.
Hey, man.
Jonka's a drive itself.
That guy better appreciate. Hey, Jonka, come on, man. Bro. You gotta appreciate Brandon for that.
You know what? I appreciate it, but also it's like kind of the consequence for last season for saying that the Canes are back and you ruined our season and cursed it.
I didn't try.
So
that was
it leveled it out.
Look, I swear to you, I wasn't on the field.
And then the last thing, obviously, was Mother's Day. Got to celebrate my mom. Went out to a nice restaurant, nice little steakhouse, and got to celebrate her and obviously thank her for everything that she does for me. But anyways, first topic. Let's get into the NBA playoffs. And the first series I'm going to talk about, and I'm just going to rank on Brandon here. Brandon, bro, look, I'm going to keep saying it, man. The Boston Celtics are frauds. They're frauds. They have the easiest path to the finals. They only beat the Cavaliers tonight, barely, without Donovan Mitchell. I'm telling you, man, when they're going to run into a team that's healthy and that's good, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle. Mark my words. Jonka, what is it? What is it that Brian always says? Oh, it's a guarantee?
Yeah, guarantee.
There we go. It's going to happen. And I know Jonka agrees with me.
I do. I'm sorry, Brandon, but I do.
Look,
Let him have it.
Look, I think the weirdest part about, because there's always like a narrative like, should this championship count? What's the easiest route? Last year, the Nuggets had the easiest route to a championship.
I do agree with that.
2020, Lakers had the easiest route to a championship. The Bucks had the easiest route to a championship. Almost every team in the past 5 years apparently had an easy route to a championship. This is what I would say, though, for the Celtics at least. For the past two games, and obviously both of them, coming out to be wins against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are got into the series missing Garrett Allen. Now we're missing out Donovan Mitchell with a strain on a right calf. Terrible game in Game 4 by Derek White, right? I think he only made like one shot from the floor. Also,
Yeah, he made all of them against the Heat.
Well, got he's got to. And again, like Derek White for the past 3 games has been kind of out of sorts on offense. So, now you see Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum getting more active and more on-ball opportunities, especially with Porzingis out. I just think that when you look at the Celtics throughout this regular season, and again, as I mentioned before, it was like a broken record. It's just another game for them. This is what this kind of feels like. I mean, this is like the first playoffs I've watched the Celtics and not been like, my heart racing out of my ass. You know what I mean? Excuse my language. like, okay, they got it. Okay, it's okay. Okay, because the only time the Cavaliers have gotten a win against the Celtics was like a back-to-back in the regular season, and then Game 2 where 8 guys were shooting 50% or better from the floor. All right. As I said before, you need something special to happen. For the Heat, it was a franchise playoff high 3-point percentage. And then for the Cavaliers, it was 8 guys, basically their entire rotation, shooting lights out throughout an entire game. So that's the type of mentality these teams need to have going against the Boston Celtics. And again, the Celtics, etching out a win 109-102 in Cleveland with LeBron James in the crowd too, mind you. So they're putting some demons to rest there. But I'm telling you, whoever makes out of the West, good luck. That's the only thing I can say to them.
I don't think it's bro. I think it's the other way around. Like, whoever comes out of the East, good luck, bro. Because whoever's coming out of the West is gonna beat the Celtics. I'm sorry.
I don't know about that one. The West is I think because I know we're gonna talk about the other series. I think like the narrative switches like week by week. I personally had the Minnesota Timberwolves winning it all last. Yeah. The way that they were going through Denver, the way they went through their entire first round series without an itch or a doubt that they were going to come out and the Phoenix Suns. I thought for a fact this team had no flaws. We saw a bunch of flaws. The defensive player of the year was getting dominated in the paint by Jokic. Again, for good reason, 3-time MVP, right? And then there was a lot of inconsistency as well on offense where they can't really battle against runs. You also look at this other series, which has a game going on right now where you have Dallas against OKC. OKC's, we talk about one of the most youngest teams right now in the playoffs in the postseason. A lot of skill, but not a lot of experience deep in the playoffs. And that's coming to a future here. So that's what I think is going to be kind of the main part out of the Western Conference I want to see. Like exactly how young is the team going to look like and how experienced are they going to be? Because if it's not Denver, there's going to be in newfound grounds.
If it's Denver, I just don't think the Celtics have an answer for Denver. I think the Nuggets are bigger than Boston. I don't think Boston's going to have an answer for Jokic.
I don't know about bigger in size, but I just think that for the regular season matchups, I think they did split the series, I believe, 1-1 between that and the Nuggets. But, it would be a good one. It'll be like down to 7 games. But again, Celtics having the home court advantage, even though that doesn't even matter, apparently. Because they're 15-15 the past, 30 games at home in the playoffs. But as I mentioned before, Jason Tatum already passed 100 playoff appearances. Al Horford himself, long veteran status, Jaylen Brown. And, we just got guys right now for the Boston Celtics that have, not only a championship caliber Drew Holiday, but also, a proven roster. So it's going to be tough. Not saying that the Celtics are, proven to win it all, right? But if there was to be a Vegas favorite, which it is the Vegas favorite, it would be the Boston Celtics right now.
They're up 3-1 against Cleveland. That series is pretty much over. Then we've got Indiana and New York. I'm telling you, I really like, since the beginning of the year, I really like Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers. I really do. I think that they play great. I think they have fight. I think they have grit. And they're bringing it to New York right now in this second round. I would not be surprised if Indiana finds themselves in the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston.
Yeah, I probably feel the exact same way. The only reason I would say that, though, is just because I feel like the injury bug has taken its toll on New York.
Yeah.
Mind you, right? Midway, February, we had a Julius Randle, a Mitchell Robinson, we had a Bogdanovich, and we also had Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, all starting 5. 3 of those guys are gone. Then you also have OG Anunoby, who does join the season midway, who also was a huge starter for them, and probably one of the biggest reasons why they're more of a defensive-minded team. You know, of course, as well with Josh Hart and his offensive rebounding skill. But, I mean, Josh Hart has to play another 48, 45, whatever minutes just to get a little win by 2 possessions.
Yeah.
Has to do another 47, 45 points. I mean, what exactly does the Knicks need? Again, they're going to be hosting a Game 5 now. But what do they need besides a home court advantage to get over Indiana in this series? Because, again, the injuries, I mean, we talk about the Miami Heat season as well, how much that affected them. I mean, deep right now, this might affect the Knicks, long term, right? Because, when does Julius Randle come back next season? And also, how does that look like for the next postseason?
John, could go ahead.
I don't know exactly what is it that the Knicks need to get over that hump. But if I were to maybe, I don't know, I think Jalen Brunson can be is obviously your number 1, but I think they need a really good number 2. And I think Josh Hart at times just doesn't provide as much offensively. He'll give you good energy, but he won't provide you that offense that you need. So maybe is what they need is a 1-2 punch, and I think that's what would give him over the hump. And then let Jalen Brunson do his thing because he's gonna cook. But you need that extra guy to give Jalen Brunson a little breather because he can't do everything. That's what I think the Knicks are missing. And I know Stephen A. really wanted Donovan Mitchell. He wants everybody, but it's not gonna happen.
In the same boat. Every time there's a free agent or whatever, I hear Jonka, when does the Heat sign him? I'm like, oh, Jonka, you want every guy. Every guy that you see is a free agent, you're like, oh, let's bring him.
I want to win. I want to win.
You gotta fit the right pieces. It's not gonna be everybody.
Donovan Mitchell is a right piece, bro. I'm telling you, he's the right piece.
I take
been here years ago.
I'll take KD.
I don't know. The real question is, can the Heat afford him right now? Can the Heat afford him right now? Because from what I've heard, Heat are trying to figure out how to afford Caleb Martin. That's basically what I'm hearing right now.
They're gonna get rid of Caleb Martin.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be asking too much during the summer.
Trade.
Like Brandon asked me, do you think I'm really gonna be hurt that we lost Caleb Martin? I'm not gonna lose any sleep over that.
Yeah, but as I said before, going into this season, there's no Gabe Vincent game, there's no more Max Strus game, and for the Heat at least, there'll be no more Caleb Martin game. So
that's fine. I trust in Pat. We'll figure it out.
I would trade Hero, Duncan, and maybe someone else.
If it was up to you, bro, you'd get rid of the whole roster.
Bro, I can't, bro. Hero and Duncan Robinson have been on this team for too long, and they have not improved at all. I think it's time. They have not improved their defense. The only thing that their problem is their defense, and they have had multiple off seasons where they have not improved a percentage. Get out of here. We can't play if you can't play defense. That's why Boston is scoring us every time.
Brandon. So they're talking about you. If you don't know who this is the co-owner of Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds. Hold up. That I'm not gonna lie. I see it.
Yeah, I do get that comparison. You know what's the funniest thing? I get more Ryan Reynolds nowadays than Rob. But yeah, I can see it though.
No, I can see Rob more than Ryan.
Yeah, that's what I always tell people. But I don't know. They don't believe me. They don't believe.
Listen, I hope Rob. Where's Rob from? Let's see where Rob's from.
Isn't he from Philadelphia?
He's from Philadelphia. Good. So he's not a Boston fan. Yeah. Wow. They just introduced me to this whole new world. Now, you know what? I'm gonna start milking this. I'm gonna start calling you Rob, and people are gonna start tuning in a little more. They're like, oh, they got Rob down there.
No, yeah, it's always sunny in Gainesville right now over here. That's basically what I am right now. Yeah, but actually, what I was gonna mention though, because I know we were talking a little bit about the Knicks and all that stuff, off season. I honestly do believe, because I love the idea of a backcourt, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson. I love that. Keep that, right? But how long does Hartenstein, again, a fan favorite, but is he going to be a starter long term, right? I think the Knicks should definitely go and get themselves another guy for that front court, Julius Randle. And again, Julius Randle going to the floor with OG. Hopefully Anunoby's going to be healthy long term, but I think Randle and another all-star guy in that front court, that's got to be a priority for New York, though.
Look, this is kind of switching subjects, but I'm very proud to say that from the beginning of the playoffs, I said that the Dallas Mavericks, if they start hitting, they're good. And they're hitting. And I think if they win tonight and they go 3-1 over OKC, it's over for OKC, and Dallas goes to the Western Conference Finals. Yes, I mean, obviously, if you don't win the conference finals, you're short of your goal. You don't win a championship. But still, I think the Dallas Mavericks to get to the Western Conference Finals, it's a big accomplishment compared to like what everyone was saying about this team, saying, oh, they're not going to do much. Kyrie's selfish. Kyrie's not going to do anything. Kyrie and Luka's not going to work out. So I think if they get to the conference finals, I mean, that's for what the narrative has been made about that team. It's an accomplishment, but I'm proud to say I was the one who believed. Brandon was the one that said, I don't believe, and quote, I don't believe in any team from Dallas, which partially insulted me when I'm talking about my Cowboys. But that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the one thing this season I've been very wrong of out of everything. I wasn't even expecting Dallas to even make, like, mind you, a playoff run. You know what I mean? But they definitely switched gears. I mean, they got themselves PJ Washington, and Washington, I mean, hell, he's been probably one of the most entertaining guys to watch on the floor in this series. Him and Gafford, and Gafford, of course, being their center. I mean, they've been getting a lot of good minutes. So I kind of had a lot of questions about their depth. Hardaway Jr. is coming off the bench really well. Kyrie and Luka obviously clicking back and forth. And I mean, I know as is, open up this entire conversation with NBA playoffs, easiest road. I mean, Clippers without Kawhi. Then you got a young, swashbuckling, barking OKC team. So, I mean, a lot of it, as I mentioned before, that veteran leadership and experience. So that's really shining right now for Kyrie and Luka, and they're taking advantage of it. So, not saying the cards, fell in the right place, but again, got to give the roses at Dallas right now. They're looking like one of the better teams right now in the NBA.
I'm going to say something very controversial. It's a very hot take. Do not be surprised if somehow, some way, you guys are going to think I'm crazy. Somehow, some way, the Dallas Mavericks end up in the finals.
Whoa.
Do not be surprised.
I mean, I can see it, right? I can see it with a few injuries on the floor, but
do not be surprised.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you, do not be. It's like things like this happen when we least expect it.
That is true, and I least expected this Dallas team. But am I going mental to think that Luka Doncic goes to the final? I don't know. Again, that means a hypothetical beating out Denver and Minnesota in a 7-game series. And that, as I said before, depth, it really matters in the postseason. It matters a lot in the postseason. I don't know if they got that against those teams.
But you agree, though, they get out of this OKC series.
I would have to – actually, what's the score right now in that
42-32, I think.
Who's up?
33. My bad. 42-33, Dallas.
Dallas?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hitting threes, bro.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Shai's getting cooked.
Turnover.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Dallas does make it out of that series. Again, as I mentioned before, the entire identity of a team is based on exactly how strong they are long term.
Yeah.
I mean, one example I always go back to with JJ Redick with the LeBron James podcast they recently got the name of. But
Mind the Game.
Yeah, Mind the Game. I've watched a little bit of episodes.
Yeah, it's a great podcast.
Really great podcast, especially NBA and also basketball in general as a game. But one thing that JJ Redick mentioned about, especially in the 2022 NBA Finals of Celtics Warriors, it wasn't the skill wise, but it was more or less just that veteran, like they've been here before, that mentality. That's a huge part, I think. And I think is just lacking that despite Gordon Hayward on the roster.
John, you agree Dallas comes out of this OKC series?
Yeah, I think it's over, bro. Like,
All right.
I mean, I had I told you when the before the series started that I think Dallas was gonna had just had more star power, and there you go. It's starting to show. The first game they weren't really making anything. I think Luca only had like 9 points. Kyrie only had like 16 or whatever it was, and it's like they didn't show up first game. Now we see 3 straight games. It's not even competition, bro.
Hey, so Jonka, who was this? Do you happen to know his name? We need to tell Brandon about this story, this situation. So, like I said, I was at the restaurant on Saturday. Who was that really thick guy that was sitting to my right?
Oh, I don't remember his name. He's a regular there, but he comes
He's
in.
making us look bad, bro. He is making us look bad. The guy literally told us. He told us, watch, Denver is gonna come back and win 4 straight. Me and Jonka looked at him and said, nah, that's 2-2. I was thinking about that today, and I'm like, man, if that guy, well, I don't go there every week, but Jonka's gonna have to deal with him. And yeah, that guy right now, he's on the right projection.
This next game is gonna be interesting because I know after the game, Anthony Edwards and he had some words for Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the basketball I like to watch, bro. Like, forget the technical fouls with the taunting and the the smack talk. I need this. This is what we like to see. This is the old basketball everybody wants to see. Give me some emotion. Give me some story to like understand.
Oh, okay. Well, Jonka scares me sometimes, Brandon. There's some games where the whistle goes and it's after the play, and Jonka's like, hit him. I'm like, hey, this is not WWE.
Yeah, this isn't hockey, man. This isn't hockey. It's not the early 2000s, man. It's no Mouse in the Palace. But I mean, I definitely would agree though with Jonka though in the sense of the intensity of that series. I mean, hot take, right? Maybe not a hot take.
Okay.
I'm not saying that either of these teams would win the finals, but that either team that makes it out of that series of the Timberwolves in Denver will make it to the finals, and that's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. I put my whole lease on that. Kid you not.
A whole lease?
A whole lease on that. Those teams. And
drink some water real quick, guys.
Yeah, but we're talking about all the teams in this series getting road wins throughout this entire 2 each. And what was the last game? It was almost like nearly a blowout until Minnesota went on a late run.
Yeah,
trying to cut it down to single digits. But it's almost like it's an energy core, right? Like both of these teams have that can go long term into the series without getting phased at all. Jamal Murray, Edwards, sharing words as Jonka said before. I love that. Mind you, Edwards is 22 years old doing this for Minnesota. That's insane to me. Absolutely insane. And the MJ comparisons and all that.
I was about to ask you that, Brandon. Like, are you sick and tired? I mean, I know some people. Stephen A. Smith is sick and tired of the MJ comparisons with Anthony Edwards. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think it's again, fun, right?
Yeah.
Do MJ every 2 years, but way too soon. Way too
soon. I agree.
And not even that, we can't even compare MJ to LeBron. You know what I mean? So it's compare MJ to Anthony Edwards, that's not the right idea. Well, what I would say, though, because a lot of people have been talking about it, a young Dwayne Wade and Anthony Edwards, I could see that more than a Donovan Mitchell Dwayne Wade, because I know people are talking about that.
I can agree.
Yeah, people always say, oh, Donovan Mitchell's like Dwayne Wade. And I'm like, I don't see it.
Yeah, he's his own guy. I mean, let alone Donovan Mitchell has more of a perimeter shooting game than Dwayne Wade's had early in his career. So the way that Edwards, again, raises his team as well off the court, it's a lot of D-Wade-ness.
So what do you guys think happens? I'm going to stick with my pick. Eat my words, and I'm sticking with Minnesota.
I truly believe, and again, as I mentioned before, I'm like, I don't care how much I say it. I don't care how much it sounds like. I believe in a deep bench. Okay. I really believe in a deep bench. And damn it, a deep bench that plays defense like Minnesota They're gonna get the job done. I still got the T-Wolves going out.
Okay. I like the words.
Well, obviously it's not a sweep anymore, so I think I'm gonna stick with my pick with the Timberwolves. But I think we're gonna see a situation where Minnesota only wins in Denver. I think this is going 7 games, and they're gonna close them out in 7 in Denver. And so Minnesota doesn't win in Minnesota, and Denver doesn't win in Denver. It's just one of those series.
All right. All right. All right. Let's talk about the NHL playoffs. Whew, what a game last night for the Panthers. They were down 2-0 to the Boston Bruins. I was literally thinking about I changed the channel. I told Jonka, I'm like, I'm going to the Minnesota game. And then, something in me was just like, you know what? Let me just switch back to see what happens. It's 2-1, and then it becomes 2-2. And I'm like, wow. That's the thing about the Panthers. That's why they're called the cardiac cats. They have okay.
Oh.
Little Sasha action right there.
Okay.
Little Sasha action. I got a lot of thoughts on this series, but Daniel, go ahead, man. Don't go ahead.
No, like I was literally saying that, I don't know if you heard, but I was changed the channel because I was like, oh, this 2-0. I don't think they're gonna, do this. But this is why they're called the cardiac cats. It's 2-1. I changed it back. Something in me was just like, just change it back. 2-1, 2-2, and then 3-2, and then they take a 3-1 series lead. It's practically over, and Panthers gonna go back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I was telling Jonka today, if the Panthers do not get it done this year, this is the year for them. If they do not get it done, the window of opportunity to win the Stanley Cup is going to close.
This is what I would say about the. I have a lot of thoughts in this series because I think it's funny as it is, me being a Celtic fan, but also being like a diehard Panther fan.
Unbelievable.
Getting those win in TD Garden was just like,
man.
Since game 2, all they talk about is, and especially Maroon, all they talk about is, oh, we got to get one of these guys hurt. We got to beat the crap out of these guys, like Kachuk beat the crap out of like March and all the others.
Yeah.
I'm just like, they're not paying attention to winning games. They're trying to get us killed on the ice. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that through game 3 nor game 4. As you mentioned before, cardiac cats, more like cardiac Sam Bennett. All right, the guy's an absolute stud. He gets every single hit. Enemy number 1 right now in Boston, like he was in Toronto last season, and of course Barkov getting the 3rd unanswered goal that the Cats had yesterday. How good is the Panthers? They're that good. Right now, they're Vegas number 1 betting odds to win it all, besides the Dallas Stars. That's how good they are. So for the fans in Boston, I'm going to just say this one message, and specifically Bruin fans, not Celtic fans, specifically Bruin fans. It's over. It's going to be over. You're getting beaten by a team in Broward County, Florida. All right? Let's go right now. There's nothing else that's going to stop the parade in Sawgrass. I'm just saying it as it is. Say it as it is.
Now, I got to ask you, and I got to ask Jonka too. I believe it was either the 2nd or the 3rd goal. There was a challenge on the ice.
Yep.
Was it a push from behind? I'm not going to lie. It kind of did look like a push from behind.
No, it did. It did. And again, this is why I mentioned before about Sam Bennett being enemy number 1. The controversial is Sam Bennett push or wasn't enough to even overcall that goal. I think the way that's similar to like MJ against the Utah Jazz.
Yep.
90s where like people say like, oh, he pushed off. That's just the motion, right? So like Bennett's going in there on skates. Puck is on the way over there, right? So the puck's not even in front of him. So he just gets there. He gets in front of the guy. He realizes the puck's right in front of him. He responds, pushing himself off the check, pushing himself to get into a shot. I mean, to me, that's a clear goal. It's going to be controversial, I know, for a lot of people. Just because, again, it's obviously on camera. Even in one budge is like going to send a guy flying, especially in sports. But
Oh man. Look, I don't know. When I saw it, I was like, this is gonna get overturned. Because it was really obvious. It was really obvious. You saw the two hands on the back. It wasn't like a long push. It was just kind of one of those like, and that was it. But he did do it. He did do it. And I was like, oh man, this doesn't look good. Like it was really obvious. But I don't know. They came back and they said after the review that the goal stands. And of course, Boston fans were really upset. And I'm not going to say, look, I understand them because I know it looked bad. So I understand. I'm not defending the referee's decision. I'm not defending Boston. I'm just seeing what I felt like I saw where it could have been enough to overturn. Jonka, I don't know if you remember this play.
Yeah, I do.
What do you think about that?
I can agree that it looked like a push, but I can see Brandon's point where like he's already moving, he's already has momentum, and then instead of having to run into the guy, he's like, all right, let me push myself off a little bit so I can stop my whatever. And besides that, at that moment in time, the goalie already missed like the block or whatever. The puck is still on open play. He didn't grab it, so. And I forgot his name. He was already on the other side of the goal, and the puck was already where I forgot his name. The one that scored the goal.
Sam Bennett.
Yeah, Sam Bennett. He was already on the other side of the goal where the puck is. So I mean, at that point, even if he pushed, the goalie already missed the block or the stop or whatever it is. So he just like tapped it in and it went in.
I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't want to put yourself in that position where when they go to review, it looks obvious. You don't want to put yourself and your team in that position.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, though. I mean, there's also a lot of things, especially with the series, in that, over review. That I looked up. I mean, one thing I know, there was a hit. I forgot who was on Boston player specifically. But, again, Sam Bennett, Vic, my apologies. How do I say this? The number one guy with the target on his back or whatever. He basically goes over, hits this play. Looks like from a different camera angle. Instead of checking, he actually punches him across the face. And again, Bennett, of course, denied that on national television on the TNT. Asked him. And, it's all about angles. I mean, we can go so many different moments in sports about angles and different, like, oh, what if this was called? What was that called? But, record shows Panthers haven't allowed more than 20 goals. 20 shots on goal for the past, 4 games in this series. Panthers have not lost any game besides that game 1 where the defense was just terrible all the way to the fourth line. The Panthers have just been the better team in the past 3 games and have executed as the better team in the past 3 games.
I'm gonna tell you why that is. And I told it to my brother. I think I told it to Daniel. I'm gonna tell it to you. The reason that is because the Panthers were off for 2 weeks waiting for these Bruins to go finish off the Maple Leafs, and we had 2 weeks off, so we were rusty. That first game, you could see we didn't know what we were doing. We got blown out. The next 3 games, we gave them that whoop ass, bro. I'm telling you, that's it, straight up. What Boston? Where's that same energy? Keep that same energy. That game 1. Where is it now? Where's it now? Get out of my house, bro.
So as we speak right now, another team. I've been saying it. I was like, they're good. They're a good team. But again, no one puts their faith in me. The Dallas Stars. I keep saying it. They're good. They're a good team. They took out Vegas. I could see them ending up in the Stanley Cup Finals. They're up in the series 2-1. They're currently 1-0 over the Avalanche right now at the end of the first period. This, before you guys say anything about that series, this is a shocker right here. The New York Rangers were up 3-1 on the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes win tonight 4-1, and it's now a 3-2 series. Hey, man, that is That is shocking right there. I thought the Rangers were going to finish it off tonight and head to the Eastern Conference Finals, and it still may happen next game in Game 6. And I still think it's a strong chance we see Rangers and Panthers in the conference finals. But between those two series, I'm telling you, the Stars, I think they're going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think Dallas is a really good shot, and we still have to see what happens with that Edmonton and Vancouver series.
Yep.
Too, but I mean the Rangers won. I'm still blown out of my mind about the Rangers though. That series should be over by now. I mean the Rangers should have that thing cooked up within 5 to 4 games.
Yeah,
easily. But Igor of course did his best. The Rangers couldn't really do anything offensively at all in their game. And, now we have another situation where the Panthers could go against a Hurricanes team where, they swept in these 3 conference finals.
Yep.
So it could be a repeat of that. Who knows?
And I don't think that this Hurricanes team is as good as the one from last year.
Not at all.
So, yeah, if the Panthers do get the Hurricanes, which I still think it's a little bit of a stretch, but if they do get the Hurricanes, it's going to be a sweep for sure.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things, though, is also like health-wise, because we went to the finals, my apologies, the Stanley Cup finals, without any healthy legs. I'm going to put a guarantee out there. And a guarantee the Panthers would be able to win the Stanley Cup if the Rangers are kicked out against Carolina in that series. If there is no Rangers-Panthers series, the Panthers should have no excuse to win it all this year.
Okay. I think from the Vancouver series, I think Vancouver was going to take it and go to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
They're up 2-1 right now. They play tomorrow, the same day as the Panthers and the Bruins. That's at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, I think the conference finals is going to be Vancouver and Dallas, and then Florida and New York. That's where my general thinking is.
Yeah, I think Vancouver's a really great team. You obviously can't doubt McDavid over there in Edmonton, but I think Vancouver does take that one, probably in best of bet 6 games.
Jonka, you got any thoughts? Any last thoughts?
Not much, but I do agree with Brandon's take that if the Rangers are knocked out, I think we should make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know about win it, but at least make it to the finals.
Okay. So we're going to switch gears to football. Odell Beckham Jr. is finally a Miami Dolphin after all the rumors of the past month. And he denied it at first. But it's happening. He is a Miami Dolphin. He's in the franchise where his best friend, Jarvis Landry, started off his career. And honestly, Brandon, it's cool at this point. It's like, all right, you got a big name. You got a cool name pretty much added to the roster. But I just think he's washed.
Yeah.
I think he's washed. And, he brings veteran experience to the receiving core in Miami. But I don't think he'll do much. He didn't really do that much in Baltimore. It doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I really don't see anything name on a jersey for this signing. And again, it's a signing that's, I would say adds in a little more star power, right? Now you have, Tyreek Hill, now you have Odell Beckham. I mean, that's enough to, function its own TikTok NFL followers. But I think that in the sense of football-wise, I mean, we're talking about offense that's based on, yards after the catch, trying to get things either going from slant 15 yards out or going at least vertical. In the vertical game, this does help Miami a little bit, I think, on one-on-ones. But it's not going to be a move the needle for the offense. This isn't going to be a big change where it's a Tyreek Hill joining Miami. This is more or less kind of a move at your days. You got wide receiver number 3. I don't think he's going to be breaking out Waddle or breaking out from any of their receptions. I think Odell does get involved in this offense, but not that much.
Jonka, what are your thoughts? Your first initial thoughts about Odell Beckham Jr. joining the Dolphins?
I think it was to me it was just a bad decision. He doesn't really provide anything besides just being a nutcase, always getting into trouble, like always having some sort of thing on the sideline. When he doesn't go get his way, he has to start having a tantrum. What we saw in multiple other teams he's been on, and then especially it's Miami, where you can get in trouble for anything. You want one bad night, you drink too much. Oh, there you go. I don't know. I think he wasn't. I don't think he was that necessary to have because I think the Dolphins do have enough to win it all. Now, can they win? They didn't. It's not. I just think it was unnecessary. Like you don't need that locker room presence in right now when you're on the verge of Tua needing an extension. Tyreek could retire next year or this year, whatever he decides to do. I think Waddle's on his last year or second last year, so he might get another extension. So there's a lot of variables getting into why I don't like them signing Odell. Nothing against Odell, but I just think he just signed with Miami just so he can try to get another ring. It's nothing big to me. Now he could if he were to, let's say, work out, get back to some resemblance of what he once was. Sure, you could put him at the wide receiver 3, and then it would be a matchup nightmare for most teams because who are you gonna guard? Waddle, Tyreek, Barrios, Odell, maybe Eric Uzukama, which I think he's being slept on. Not gonna lie, but that's just me.
There's names in the wide receiver room or free agents right now that if I were the Dolphins, would have picked up more than Odell Beckham Jr. We're talking about Michael Thomas. We're talking about Hunter Renfrow.
Yep.
We're talking about Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I would have taken him over Odell, 100%.
I know T. Higgins wants to trade out of Cincinnati. And,
Corey Davis.
hey, I don't know why they chose him, bro. I'm telling you. For what? I guess he was cheap. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, because again, we're talking about a very, very low one. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's not gonna be like. I mean, as we mentioned before, it's not gonna be like a movie that we're gonna see here out of Odell in this season. But I think it's at least something fun. You know what I mean? I mean, as long as there's no like team boat picture, I think the Dolphins should be fine.
There is another free agent out there, wide receiver, who I 100% would have picked up more than Odell Beckham Jr., and that is Julio Jones. I know what you guys are thinking, but I would have picked him up more than Odell Beckham.
I think Julio Jones, I think his builds as a wide receiver, especially his reputation of wide receiver, is really good. But I don't think it's for the Miami Dolphins' good system. We're talking about a system that needs guys who are fast, needs guys who are track stars. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr., I mean, just to tell you about it, because Odell's like great conditioning, all that stuff. Odell's going to be vomiting probably after the first week in Miami Dolphins training camp in July. That is going to be a different type of speed he's going to never experience before. I mean, besides like Cooper Kupp, who else is he going to be running by in his career that's going to be compared to Tyreek Hill, Watt, or company? So Julio Jones, if he went to Miami, he'd be behind every single suicide run. He'd be behind every single drill. He might be behind every single line. I don't know if he'll be able to fit there, though. But, again, a good name.
I don't know. If I were the Dolphins, instead of signing Odell, sign an offensive lineman, sign a corner, sign a position of need that, if you want to go into the playoffs and actually win a playoff game, I would suggest they would have done that. Then get another wide receiver that they do not need at all. But it's the Dolphins, so
they could have even been interested in Zay Jones before he signed.
Honestly,
that would have worked too. Honestly, that would have worked.
Hey, bro, Zay Jones. Shout out to the Cardinals, bro. Hey, they're giving Kyler Murray the stacks, bro.
Hey!
Do not inflate Brandon's head, okay? He's gonna.
Kyler's a good quarterback, man. I mean, weird season last year. Barely got on the field.
Well, yeah, they did beat my Cowboys, so in
Yeah,
week 3 of the season.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, Brandon did not let me hear the end of that one.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I can't wait for football season. Please make it faster.
Yeah, schedule coming out soon too.
Yes, very excited. Brandon tagged something on X, actually about the Dolphins and when they would play Jonka's New England Patriots.
I think it's week 6 and the last week.
Last week at Hard Rock Stadium. I'm excited for football season, but in general, in conclusion, I just think the Dolphins got Odell Beckham Jr. just because of the name.
Okay, yeah.
You guys have any final thoughts on Odell?
Don't choke this opportunity. I don't know what I can say.
Okay, last topic of the night, last 10 minutes. Julian Edelman was on the Pat McAfee show, and he said before the great Netflix roast of Tom Brady, which if you guys have not watched it, watch it. It's been a long time since we've had comedy like this. It was very funny. It is very profanity driven, but it is very funny. And Julian Edelman was saying that they were all sitting in the green room, which you guys know, television, whatever. Green room is just the room where they chill before, everything starts. And Bill Belichick was in there with them. And here comes Robert Kraft, enters the green room. And Julian Edelman was saying that you could feel the tension without either of them saying anything. You could feel the tension. Obviously, later on in the night on the roast, Kevin Hart made Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick take a shot together. And Robert Kraft did have some nice words to say, where he said that he thanks God for a guy like a coach like Bill Belichick because he gave him everything that he wanted in a franchise and all the Super Bowls and stuff like that. But man, do you guys think there's actually like real beef there between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick?
I would have to say yes, but not as big as what people think it is. Obviously, the owner to head coach, obviously, there's going to be a relationship there. But I think people are trying to make it a little bit too big because of
Too much of what it is.
like, yes, he did have a bad term after Tom Brady left, and I think people are making that little term out to be bad, even though he did have a really bad coaching those 4 or 5 years. It's I don't know. You know what? We're trying to move in a new direction. Nothing against you, but these past couple of years haven't worked out. We'll let you go. You can go do whatever you want. I mean, I don't think there's much to talk about. I mean, yeah, obviously the guy fired you, so there's going to be some sort of emotion there. But now, to like a point where there's beef, sizzling beef. I don't know, bro. Bro, Bill Belichick would have to be petty as hell to have beef for getting fired like that. Even though there is some merit to him getting fired.
Yeah.
But I'll let you guys talk for that.
Yeah, I think that again, it's a roast, right? So you're expecting those
Yeah.
types of comments to come up or random, but bad timing. Horrible timing for a roast like that to have Kraft and Billy.
Yeah. Kind of
But I mean, what I would say though is that Kraft obviously businessman, check, professional NFL guy of whatever how many years he's been involved in the league since like the 80s. But I mean, they both know it's a business, and the firing, I don't think it should tarnish the relationship personally. I don't think it is. They're just two old guys that don't really know how to energize each other, right? I mean, Belichick is barely even giving out a smile throughout his entire career, winning like 6. So I think that
Oh boy, here we go.
as Jock has one of them in his, but
I got 6. You guys got 0. Let's go.
Well, technically we have 5.
5, but in the recent century. But
I got Hey, I got two. I'm gonna keep hold of that one. But what I would say, the last thing I would say about it, terrible timing for a roast. Terrible timing for a roast. Doesn't matter how old or whatever it is, but they could at least waited a year.
I think the loser in all of this roast was poor Giselle, man. She was getting ripped left and right.
I loved it.
Every joke in this roast, at least one of the people, every single person that went up there, at least one had one joke about Giselle. I can't forget, I can't remember the lady's name, but she was like, Tom, you have 7 Super Bowl rings. Well, now 8 because Giselle gave hers back.
Nikki Chase?
I think so. Yeah, it is Nikki. I don't know her last name. It is Nikki.
Nikki Glazer or something like that.
Yeah, Nikki Glazer. Yeah, man. She was like, you have 7 rings. Now 8 because Giselle gave hers back. And I don't remember who it was, but Giselle was taking jiu-jitsu classes. And I forgot who it was that said, man, Tom, she was going to jiu-jitsu class 8 times a day. Didn't that alert you to something?
I think it was Kevin Hart.
I think it was Kevin Hart. And I really enjoyed Gronk, man. Gronk said some stuff that left me like, what are you saying, man?
Well, that guy was on drugs. He had to be.
Dude, the fact that Rob Gronkowski got his shot glass and spiked it like if it was a football and the glass went everywhere and you heard it crack. I think that right there goes to show you that there's definitely something missing upstairs in Rob Gronkowski's brain.
Brandon, I don't know if you want to say anything.
The roast itself, good roast. A lot of things that I wouldn't say, right? But yeah, I just think that it's always a show whenever like that group of people come together. It's always a show, man. It's always a show. Honestly, if there was like a reality TV thing for them, like Gronkowski, Brady, Edelman, Kraft, and Belichick in a house, I mean, it'll be drama first episode. It'll be something first episode.
It's because of this. You know what I love about this roast, bro? This is why they get to show you what I went through these past 20 seasons with the Patriots. It just shows you how much fun I was having. Besides the rings, that's just an addition. But how much fun I was having just because of the personalities that I kept having to run into every single day on Twitter. Just because of Edelman, Gronk, Brady, Belichick with the straightest face ever. We're on to Cincinnati. Kraft with his little antics.
Ben Affleck. Man, I wish I could say I'm on to Cincinnati. I gotta go to the whole world press tour for Justice League. Oh man, it was great. I really enjoyed it, and I think, look, I don't understand why was Kim Kardashian there?
Because apparently, him and Tom Brady, Tom Brady had they hooked up. They did the clap. But it was rumors, so I guess they just brought her for the rumors, but she denied it.
But it was so bad. I believe it was Andrew Schultz who went up there and said, well, Tom, your only black wide receiver, Randy Moss, is on stage. Oops, I said black. Kim, close your legs. And I was like, oh my. Did he really just say that? And Tom got her back good, too. Tom was like, Kim was terrified to be here tonight, not because of the jokes, but because her kids are at home with their dad.
Oh.
Oh my God. It was bad, man. Some of the stuff was bad, but honestly, it's been a while that comedy has reached a level like that. We could have some funny but yet messed up stuff said like that without people getting offended or getting in their feelings. Gentlemen, any last thoughts on the roast or anything Robert Kraft or Bill Belichick related?
Well, I think Belichick now just got himself out of a job for the next few But still, as I said before, still gonna stand on it. Great roast. Bad timing for the roast, though. Bad timing.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I like the intensity of the relationship.
Well, everybody, that is the end for episode 139. We thank you guys for tuning in, week out. We hope you guys enjoyed the great playoff series we're having right now, both hockey and basketball. We hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 140.